All right, let's talk about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers here, who had a very dominant win over the Seattle Seahawks. I want to talk about Love though and his performance, what he was able to do well, and some issues that also happened in this game. We'll talk about it all here. And first, before we can talk about Love, we kind of have to talk about the player of the game to some degree, Josh Jacobs. So this play, it's a zone coverage concept, a cover two zone, and this play starts off innocently enough. As you see, Love is going to run a play action. He flips the ball to Jacobs underneath, and as of right here, again, it's a fine play by Love. Throw the check down, but at the end of the day, nothing was open down the field, and now Seattle's rallying to make the tackle. Here's the thing. It is, difficult to get in position to tackle Josh Jacobs. It's a lot more difficult to actually tackle him. Watch him juke out that defender, and then he's going to run over a different one and is able to pick up a good amount of yards. He started off the game red hot. He did actually cool down as Seattle made a more conscious effort to slow him down in the second half, but definitely, it was impressive stuff early on. And speaking of impressive stuff, Jordan Love, who I was very critical of early on this season, and part of that was him playing through injury, of course, that was a factor. But he really is playing. It's the same as what we saw last season, where he struggled to start that year and then was awesome down the stretch. He's kind of doing that again right now. Some of these throws are just incredible. It's the high degree of difficulty throws that he's making consistently that I've been really impressed with, especially in this game, where it's going to be a one-on-one matchup. You have Romeo Doubs, who, they kind of have a fake screen on the other side of the field trying to isolate Doubs on a one-on-one. It's something they do, and for a good reason. It's effective. Watch, when this play begins, Seattle is playing this pretty well, actually. You have the player who's covering over the middle of the field, essentially forcing Love to have to make this throw right this second. If this throw was going to be made, you have to throw it in an instant. But watch just the accuracy on that throw. That's a mailbox type throw. I know it wasn't from super far away, but you have to put that perfectly if that's going to be a completion. Great job by Doubs to then get into the end zone himself. So, both guys doing some nice things there. But that's a difficult throw. It just is. This one, another incredibly difficult throw. It's going to be, so it's now 14-3 Packers. You have a deep shot to Christian Watson. It's quarters coverage, and that's worth noting because, in cover three zone, for example, you only have one safety you have to worry about. Here you have two you have to worry about. Doesn't mean you can't work the sidelines. You just have to be a lot more careful. So Love takes the snap. He's going to use his eyes to get the safeties out of position. Then when he throws, again, is there a window? Okay, technically yes, but not a big one. You had to get the safeties out of position, but the corner kind of knows, okay, there's only really one way you can get beat, which is down the field. He's playing this pretty well, but again, Christian Watson's a tall guy. Maybe you can throw one up and have him make a tough catch. And that's exactly what happens. That's an amazing throw and catch. Great catch by Watson, of course. That's kind of the headline there. But it was an amazing throw from Jordan Love on top of it. So, again, a couple of these plays, I think the receivers were the ones that got the credit. And I get it. They made great plays. But also, Love making some great throws. Also, this play I really liked, which is just a smart play. It's something that, not every quarterback does, and I'm glad to see that Love has learned from Aaron Rodgers and is doing this. So you see a player has jumped off sides. Love notices this, which means, okay, you got a free play. Love takes a snap, and does he just go through his progressions? Well, no, he's going to fire one down the field because you already get a free 5 yards if you throw an incompletion, so let's try to get more than that. It's just a jump ball. It's just let's see what happens. If it's intercepted, who cares? It doesn't matter. I honestly wonder if the Seattle defender realized it was a free play or not, because you see, he doesn't really go for a deflection. It almost looks like he went for the interception there. Tucker Kraft is able to sort of outmuscle him, and he gets the catch. So, hey, not a bad guy to throw up a jump ball to because of how strong he is. So, again, just smart stuff here by Love, and good job by Kraft making the catch. Heading over here, as I mentioned, things did cool off for the Packers. They got off to that incredibly red-hot start where they scored in every possession in the first half. They then went 6 possessions in the second half, only scoring a field goal. Now, one of those possessions had a fumble, but still, that was, not the ideal, second half. What went wrong? Well, it was stuff like this. So you see, that's the route that Love is eventually going to look towards. 3rd down and 3, Christian Watson kind of just trying to get into a gap in coverage. You see when this play begins, though, there is pressure. And, to be honest, I don't even know if Love needed to get outside the pocket there. I think he could have navigated the pocket a little bit better, in my opinion, because he had a mostly clean pocket. He had to move around in the pocket. Might have been the better strategy there. You see, though, that, Christian Watson is open at this point. But Love can't make that play, and that's a tough play. So, really, at the end of the day, Seattle was getting pressure on Love, getting him moving, and forcing him to make tougher plays. And also, as I mentioned, they kind of sold out to stop the run, forcing Love into, maybe instead of having, situations where you don't know if he's throwing or passing, more obvious passing situations, it's easier to defend those. Like this play is another example. It's a 3rd down and 6 right here. So that's the situation. Seattle again trying to get back into this game with Sam Howell. It's probably not going to happen, but they're trying. You see, Love is going to take the snap. He looks, and it's Leonard Williams, one of the best players in the league, about to generate some pressure as he typically does. This one is one where you can kind of understand Love trying to get outside the pocket. As you see, I think Seattle rallies well here. They flush him out, force him to have to move. Love rallies again, but it's, he did actually finally spot an open guy. It's just so hard to, while, fully running, make that throw accurately. I mean, Love's better than most players in those situations, but if you can get him outside the pocket, and not allow him to run, you're better off there. You're better off just getting pressure on him, right? Of course, that's the case of every quarterback. It's obviously a dangerous game. You can't get him outside the pocket and then not have pressure on him, because then you're going to give up a big play. But as long as you can keep the pressure on him, that's what Seattle was able to do, along with covering well down the field. But then we go to this play. So, okay, I brought up they had 6 possessions where they weren't able to, score more than a field goal. They had 1 field goal drive. Well, then you had this possession, which actually started off just 5 yards further back. They had an interception, which allowed them to have the ball deep in Seattle territory. But you don't want just a field goal. You want to go up 3 scores here. You have Romeo Doubs in a one-on-one matchup on a blitz, which, okay. The blitz thing is interesting. I made a video where I talked about kind of his numbers against the blitz and not against the blitz, and people kind of pushed back saying, well, he was really hurt during the beginning of the season. He's gotten healthier now, and his numbers have gotten better. He had a 2-week stretch where he was very good against the blitz, against the 49ers, and against the Dolphins. Personally, I think the Packers have been so good when you don't blitz that I would still rather be blitzing occasionally than not blitzing. So that's kind of what Seattle's doing right here, but it's definitely a fair point. So Seattle, they're going to try it. They're going to say, hey, the numbers are the numbers. Let's see what we can do. They're going to send the house here. Love is going to have a clean pocket, so that does not help when you can't get him off balance. That being said, it's not a huge window here for Romeo Doubs. Love it's one of those awkward situations where Love is trying to lead him a little bit more towards the middle of the field. Doubs picks that up late, so this isn't actually a bad throw. But Doubs, despite picking up just a hair late, is still able to go over and make that tough grab, and they get the big touchdown there to really ice the game. They would have been fine either way, but you want to ice it early on if you can, and that's what they were able to do. So yeah, really good performance by the Packers, really good performance by Jordan Love. The issues weren't overly concerning in my opinion. And the positives were just so good. So yeah, if Love's going to play like this come playoff time, I mean, they can beat anyone. They really can. At least that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.